Today we're going to be playing a game that I've been excited about since its demo first dropped during Steam Next Fest, Town to City. If you're unfamiliar, Town to City is a charming, laid-back, voxel art city builder where you found a 19th century Mediterranean town and then grow it into a thriving city. And almost everything is customizable. Want to make a big bustling city? You can do that. Want to make a small town where you focus on aesthetics and zoom in on the details? You can do that too. Or perhaps you want maximum efficiency, optimizing every single aspect of your city. It's all up to you. That's what this game is all about. Freedom of creativity, experimentation, exploration, and laid-back vibes. So in this video, we're going to be taking the early access version of the game for a spin. We'll found a new city on a fresh map. I'll attempt to master the game's mechanics and build something beautiful. And if you enjoy coverage of new city builders, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this one. And without further ado, let's jump right in. If you played Town to City's demo, you already have a feel for what this game is like. But this early access release has so much more to offer. There are two game modes, Campaign and Sandbox. The Campaign has structured progression. You'll found your town, learn the story of Town to City, and play through tutorials that walk you through step by step. And again, if you played the demo, the starting map will feel familiar. But now, the population isn't capped, the tech tree is fully open, and there are more progression elements to discover and master. And then there's Sandbox mode, and this is where the game really opens up and gives you complete creative control. You can pick from any of the 5 included maps, each one has very different terrain and features, and you can tweak the rules of the game however you like, tailoring the experience to your own style. And these 5 maps are gorgeous. They're massive, they're varied, and they seamlessly blend with the outside world, which is something I really appreciate. Some give you wide, flat, buildable areas, others lean heavily on water, and a few challenge you with rugged terrain, but just generally they all look fantastic. Now, as tempting as the Sandbox sounds, today we're going to be diving into the campaign. And that's because I want to fully understand how the game works, test the systems, and master the mechanics step by step. So let's dive into a new game. In the initial build that I had here, I tried to focus around this lake, and it's really nice, but I think I want to do something different. So this time, I think I'm going to build in this little area in between these 2 small lakes and work our way up this way. So with that in mind, let's focus on this hillside here. And then we have to connect these homes up to the train station with a road. And I think I'll go with a basic brick road to begin. We can customize the size of the road and choose if we're going to draw with a square brush or a round brush. I think I'm going to use the round brush and then just try to do something fairly organic. And here's our first train rolling in with our first citizens. So now we have to give them a home, and it's pretty easy. All you got to do is select this little icon above them and then assign them to a home. Now these folks are going to need a place to get food, so we have to build a couple of market stalls. Now before we do that, I just want to think about the town square that we might have. So I'm going to draw one in front of these homes. So now I'm going to add these market stalls, and these can go basically anywhere, but the arrow's pointing where people would actually interact with this object. So I'll place one poultry stall right there and one cheese stall right here. So now we have to assign workers to our market stall. So we'll add one here and I'll add one right here. We can see that by adding a worker here, we now have 20 production and 3 demand. This will change over time, and if our demand is ever higher than our production, we'll need to add laborers here. Now, these are not functional until we have a warehouse. The warehouse will pick things up from the train and bring it over here to these food stalls. So I'm going to want to have this somewhere in between so that they're not deadheading too much in either direction. So I'll place that right here, but now I feel like I should probably assign folks to live at these homes because we're going to need them to work at the warehouse. But before I do that, I just want to modify these homes just a little bit. And I did that because I wanted to give a little bit more space, have sidewalks leading from the homes and the warehouse to our town square. That'll give us room to decorate. So now let's add workers here. And it looks like one worker covers our demand. And that makes both our poultry and cheese stalls functional. So now that we have our marketplace stalls working, we've gained access to decorations. The whole purpose of decorations is to make your city look nicer and make your citizens happier. So if you click on a home, you can see their happiness, and we can see that right now this home in particular has 0 decoration point happiness. If I were to add a tree, that adds 2% happiness and 8 decoration points. This is going to be really important because we have to keep our overall city happiness above 60 to keep people moving in and keep it above 50 to keep people from moving out. Now, to progress any further, I have to have a house with 40 decoration points. This one only has 15, so we just got to add some more things back here. So let's add a wooden slide in the backyard. And I'm pretty sure that I've far exceeded the requirements. Yeah, 81 here, 87 here, and 81 here. And that's just by adding in some benches and some flower pots and trying to make a little shared space back here. The nice thing too is if you make a mistake, it's easy to adjust basically anything in here. It's just very, very, very easy to modify things. Now let's finish this space off. I'll add homes on the other side and then add even more decorations. And now we'll assign families to these homes. So next we have to build a research center, and this basically allows us to research things and progress down the tech tree. So the research center looks like an observatory, and I feel like we should place this somewhere higher than our city as a result, though I think I'm going to keep it fairly close. Maybe we'll place it right here. And then I'll branch off from here and lead a road up to it. And then the last thing that we need to do to get this thing operational is just assign some laborers here. Now we have 7 available, so I could almost max this thing out. I think I'm going to add quite a few, though we can have a maximum of 400 research points. So we don't necessarily need to completely fill this up because once we hit 400, they're not going to be working anyway. So let's select something to research. And the first thing that we have available to us is the fish stall. Let's also unlock decorate buildings. This is a really fun one. And then we'll hold off on the rest until later. Our next goal is to have 50 residents. So let's grow our city to that so we unlock the new features and buildings. So I think I'll continue to build in a similar way, though I won't have a park in between all of the neighborhoods. You might have noticed I just added benches to the tops of these homes, and that's one of the really exciting things about this game. You can kind of do whatever you want. Now we added the props and decorations research, and look at what that adds for us. We can now add these to buildings and really experiment and find new ways to use these. If you drag it on the side of a wall, it becomes a hanging basket. If you hold it up to a window, it's a flower basket hanging off the window. So cool. Same thing with lights. You can attach these to homes, add lights to homes. And this becomes important because certain families are going to have certain requests. And some of them are going to like flowers and others are going to like lights. Now at this point, we have 180 research points available. So let's spend some of these. And I've got to go for trees and bushes. This gives us so many decorating options. Absolutely love these. Now, one thing I am a little bit curious about is how we're doing right here with our stalls. It looks like demand is starting to creep up. So I will add a fish stall right here. And assign a laborer. Now, this will mean that we have to add one more worker here at our warehouse. And that's because we currently have demand that's higher than our covered demand. And that resolves it. Now, this is interesting. We had a family arrive with traits. They want to be surrounded by a lot of trees. So you can actually see which home they would like to live near the most. And obviously we can influence this, but this is probably going to be the best place for them right now. So I'm going to place them here. And I am very, very, very curious. Right now they have an 11% bonus because of their location. Let's add some bushes around their house and see how it changes things. And that got their tree hugger bonus up to 14%. But honestly, the decoration points were probably more impactful. But either way, these folks are very, very happy here. I've added a couple more families in. We've run out of homes, and we're also in need of more laborers here at our poultry stall. I'm going to add one here, but I think I might add one to the rest of these as well. And these will be sleeping, but that's okay because I know that we're going to need these in short order because we're going to add even more homes, even more families. Now, it looks like while I was getting carried away landscaping and detailing, I hit the research point limit. So before I assign some families in here, I absolutely need to spend these down. Thankfully, that means I can buy basically everything. With the exception of Greater Reach, which just unlocked, although we'll have the points for that in the near future. Now, it looks like this family here wants a house near a cliff, and all the homes I just built aren't good enough. So I'll need to build a new one. And my guess is if I were to place that right here, they'd be perfectly happy. But before I go crazy landscaping, I just want to test this theory. And look at that, plus 20%, this is where they wanted to live. And this family wants to be surrounded by a home with lots of nature decorations. All of these fit the bill. I'm going to place them over here though, because I know that some families are going to want to have easy access to food. So saving this home for them is probably a wise idea. And holy cow, look at all the decorations that we unlocked in the research menu. Now, the great thing about these is that I believe the potted plants, yeah, they can go up here. We couldn't place any of our trees up here before, so now we can with these. And then we've got all these flowers, and that can help us create a really interesting backyard or side yard. And my goodness, it's so easy to create places that are so intimate and quaint, just so fun. Now, we have enough research points for our final research category, that Greater Reach. We're going to absolutely go for this. Now, to get to the next level, we have to have those 50 residents, and we're really close. We've got 2 more families over here, maybe 3 that want to move in. This family desires a home near water. Thankfully, we've got that. So does this family. And this family would like to be near lights. Perfect. And with that, we actually need to add more workers here to our stalls. And now that we've loaded these all up with workers, we're in a good place and we can now upgrade our community. We now have a stage 2 city and new needs. We need apparel and we have more research available to us. That's great. And now Judith would like to speak with us. And she's excited about the potential for our town to grow into a prosperous city. And though everything's going swell, some of the new arrivals are experiencing issues. And she suggests that we build a house for ourselves with a big mailbox, all so that they'll know what to do when they want to reach us. So we get to build the mayor's home. For this, I think I want to be a man of the people and keep my home close to everyone. So I think I'll place it maybe right here next to this lake.
Le temps est bon dans la ville, dessiné d'une main agile. Nous vivons l'esprit tranquille.
And I think that that looks pretty darn good. So I wonder what our first letter says. Michelle says, yesterday I sat down on a bench and got a splinter in my leg. It hurt really bad. Perhaps our town is growing so much, some of the old wooden benches are wearing down with use. It's even making our children cry. That's terrible. I'm not crying, you're crying. It'd be a good idea to replace 5 wooden benches with new steel benches. Challenge accepted. So I should be able to go through the furniture and find these, and there it is. I have a double metal bench. So I think I'll just add a few more of these. I don't need to replace existing benches, I can just add more. And she says, you replaced the benches. Well, kind of. I didn't replace them. I just added more, but I'm glad they're happy. Nicely done putting up those steel benches. That will prevent other children from definitely not getting hurt to the point of crying. You've probably never had a splinter in your leg. That gets us $100. Now, it's funny. We got $100, but we're making a ton of money now. And I'll be honest, this entire playthrough, I haven't thought about money once. It has not really driven my decision-making process at all. So I don't really think that that's a huge concern in this game, at least not with the default play settings. Anyway, we have almost 400 research points, so I feel like we should look at the research menu because we now have a whole bunch of new options available in the Hamlet menu. So knowing that we need apparel, I'm going to unlock the clothing store. And I don't think that the optician was an option before in the demo, so I'm going to unlock this one as well. And this shows us our next goal as well. To get to village, we have to have 120 residents. So let's place some of those new buildings, and they're under commerce and apparel. So I'll place the clothing store first, and I think I'm going to place that right here, right along the street. And I'll place the optician right next to it. Now this building has an interesting shape. I almost feel like I could bring this back a little ways and then maybe have some market stalls in front of it in the future. And honestly, maybe I just turn this one in as well. Now it looks like we'll need to have 2 laborers here to meet demand, but we've got 15 available. And same thing here for the optician. And by adding this, we no longer have enough folks working at our warehouse. So I'm going to add someone here. And honestly, we've got enough extra workforce. I'm going to add one more in anticipation of needing it in the near future. And that's because we have more food stalls, and I think I want to add them. We have both a fruit stall and a vegetable stall. So I'm going to place both of those in our little market square. And then we'll add a worker for each of these, and we're going to need to completely fill this thing up. And now that we've done that, we're using up most of the capacity here at our small warehouse. Perfect. Now, even though we have another quest available, I'm going to go on my own quest, which is to add more housing. And I think I'm going to build out another block right here. And now that we have these done, hopefully these families like these places. Look at that, plus 20%. They love it. This family doesn't care, just a comfortable house. And that gets us up to 61 residents. So once again, we have more research points available. This time though, I think I want to add the second floor housing. And this will basically allow us to add density in our community. We can take any of our homes and add an additional story. That means an additional family can live there, which is pretty exciting. So now to upgrade a home, all I have to do is click on this and then select the home that I want to upgrade. Now, one of the benefits of doing this is if I have a great location and a family that wants a specific location and I don't have space, I could potentially just upgrade this and have the perfect location for that family. Now, let's take a look at this quest.
Oh.
And Fernandine says, sigh, hello, Mare. When she moved here, she didn't realize she'd have to live without her favorite tailor. She wants more clothing options. I remember this one from the demo. She wants a clothing boutique and red clothes. So that means that we have to research the set clothing color option for our clothing store. And now we just have to go to the clothing store and set the color for the clothing that they sell. Now all of her friends will be jealous of the dress. Perfect. 1,000 thanks, Mayor. Even those big city folks will be envious of my beautiful garments. And I will be nice and say you look stunning. Oh, Mayor, aren't you handing out compliments today? Get a bit of money for doing that. That's great. Now we've got a lot of things to research and I want to speed things up. So I'm going to add more laborers here. And I think I'm going to crank and completely fill this up. And then at the same time, I'm going to add more homes right here, right along the train track. And the Barron family right here would like to be near a place that has access to lots of flowers. And we've got some perfect homes for this. Now, unfortunately, adding this family here has thrown off the balance here at our clothing store. So we need to add someone here. Same thing here at our optician. Then the Blinn family here wants a home surrounded by light. Same homes. Although this one's not bad either, so I'm going to add them there. And now we're really earning our research points quickly. So let's unlock some more buildings. And I'm guessing that our warehouse is going to become a problem in short order. So I'm going to unlock the warehouse upgrade. Or rather, that's not a warehouse upgrade. That's actually just a larger warehouse. So when this one completely maxes out its capacity, we're just going to replace it. Now, interestingly, this family actually wants a very dense neighborhood. So they might actually like if I upgrade this home and move them in here. And I guess they'd be fine in any of these, but I'm moving them in here anyway. And then another family that doesn't really care either way. Now, interestingly, I've actually spent basically all of our money at this point. So I'm going to speed things up so we start to earn some more and maybe accept another quest. This time, Lou says, I don't want to play hide and seek. Don't you like it anymore? Of course I do, but there's no pretty flowers. I want to hide in bushes with flowers. What does it have to do with hide and seek? I just wanna. So we received the flowery bush and we have to place some. So it looks like I have to set the quest area for smell and seek, and I can move this if I want. So I'm selecting the area where I'm gonna fulfill this. So I think I'm gonna say maybe right here because I already have a lot of floral things going on. And in this location, I have to plant 8 flowery bushes and have 4 normal bushes. And that makes me do this. Spread it out a bit because now I meet the number of total bushes, but I have to plant some flowery bushes. And Lou says, oh, those flower bushes smell good. Hide and seek smells great now with all these new flower bushes. I want to play. I still don't know what this has to do with hide and seek. So we'll say, go on and play, little ones. And that gives us $100. Those kids have money. That's wonderful. I like that the game incentivizes you to do things, so if for whatever reason you run out of things to do, it does kind of nudge you along, gives you some quests and ideas of things that you could do. Now, we've completely maxed out our research points, so that gives us something to do. We've got to purchase some things. So I think I'm going to expend basically all of them with our Fountain of the Seasons and then move these folks into a home. So they want to be in a home surrounded by lights. Got one right here. This family doesn't care. You can move by the train tracks. And as someone who used to live by train tracks about this close to them, I'm going to mitigate some of the noise and danger that the train tracks pose. There we go. I think that we've made this a special place now. So now there's a bit of buffering from the train tracks. And when you look at the homes, look at that. So many decoration points. This is going to be a lovely place to live. And a nice little park back here for all the kids that live in these homes. I would have loved to have had something like that when I lived along the train tracks. Now, these folks just want to live in a comfortable house. And I think that these are now comfortable homes. So let's move them in. And then again, we've loaded up on our research points. So we'll get a butcher and a shoemaker. Now we'll place our butcher kind of in this little square that we have right here. And this is found under food. And it'll serve the food needs of this area, which is a good thing as well. And holy cow, we need to have at least 6 laborers here to get this thing working appropriately. Thankfully, we've got a whole bunch available. We had 20 at the start of this. So now let's see if we have more families that want to move in. And we do indeed. So this family just wants a comfortable house. This one, again, wants a ton of density. And that is close to being perfect, but not quite there. So I'm going to upgrade some more homes around our square. And that's actually going to be really helpful because this family wants to be close to food. So both of these families are ideally right around the square. And that, again, means that we need more workers at our optician and at our clothing store. Now that completely maxes out our workers at the optician. So if we have a population growth, a massive population growth, we may need to actually add another one of these. And then let's check out research one more time. And we need 500 points total. But we have enough right now for park decorations. So we'll grab that. And then once we have 300 more, we'll get tastier meats. Now let's take a look at these park decorations. It's benches, arches, lots of interesting stuff. And hopscotch. So we have more things for the kids. That's great because as I was placing this playground set, I was wondering if there was anything else that I could place. Now, interestingly, it looks like this family wants to be near apparel shops, which means that they actually want a home over here. So let's start building this way. And I think I want to plan a road that goes up the side of the hill here. Boy, I had deep regrets there. I realized that I did not randomize the colors, so I ended up deleting all of those homes, just like I've had to do on a couple of occasions. But now we have the perfect location for this family right about here. And that's looking pretty darn good. So let's move some families into these homes, and that should get us above 120 residents, which will get us to our next settlement level. Now I also want to take a look at our research menu because we have enough research points for tastier meats. And this basically just makes the butchers provide additional happiness. Now I'm realizing we never placed the shoemaker. So I'm going to place that right now. We don't really have a logical spot for this. So I may just relocate this and then reconfigure this. We'll call it a little bit of a mulligan. And there we go. All's well in the world, or at least kind of. We need to add a worker here, or 5. And then our butcher right here doesn't have enough transporters. So I need to add someone to the warehouse, and I can't do that. So I think I'm going to decommission this thing. And let's add in one of our larger warehouses instead. And this gives us a bit more capacity. And by loading this up with 5 employees, we've met all the demand. I'm going to add one more though, because we're right on the edge. And that didn't get us to the 120 population that we needed to be able to level up to the next level, but we've got more folks that want to move in and more homes available. And then we got one more family that wants to move in, but no homes available. They want to be close to food. So I'll just upgrade this home right here. And I just noticed something in the back of this upgraded house. We actually get windows and a balcony on the back, which means more decorations. And now that this train is rolled in, we've got one more family that wants to move in, and we don't have a home for them. So I'll just upgrade this one. Get them moved in, and that's 120. We can upgrade from hamlet to village. Look at this. Now we have leisure and more research. So I want to look in the research menu right away, and we've unlocked a puppet theater, street organ, ball throw, barber, bistro, a city hall, which is really exciting, but we need 500 points for that. We only have a max of 400 right now. Plaza decorations, again, 450. Road upgrades, so that's pretty exciting, the ability to upgrade our existing roads. Remove rocks. I saw a couple of those. I wasn't sure what they were. Extra warehouse workers, so hopefully making the existing warehouses even more effective. And then new research equipment. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to allow us, yes, to increase the maximum research point capacity. So I'm going to go for this one first. And that allows us to bank 1,000 research points, which is great. Now to get to the next level, we have to have 180 citizens. And I think that's going to be our goal. That's where we're going to try to end this one. That's good enough for now. We've got a couple of folks who want to move in, and they don't really care where they live. So I'm going to load them up over here. Now, with this, we're running low on employees. You're at our shoemaker and at our clothing store. Thankfully, not our optician yet. We also have research points available, and I want to go for some of these really cool buildings, like our puppet theater. And this kind of makes me want to rearrange this area just a bit. I feel like we have a whole bunch of city serving uses right here and a developing Main Street. And it feels like if we were to move some of these homes, maybe we could formalize Main Street a bit. So I'm going to take this home and move it right over here. Now I am curious though. I'm not sure if there's a way to downgrade this. If there is, it's not apparent to me. But one thing I can do is move this house, take the denser one, put it in its place, and then move this one right here. But the whole reason that I wanted to do that is that I could place the puppet theater right here. And I'm not sure how big this is. Oh my goodness, it's tiny. That was not necessary. I didn't need to do that. I could have just placed it right here. But at least these folks are happy because now they have a puppet theater. So let's continue down this path. And I think it was pretty obvious to see that the puppet theater was tiny. The barber looks bigger, so I want to unlock this. And we'll place this right in that hole. I've got to admit, I really hope that in the future, I can bring these surfaces closer to the building. There is some sort of an invisible wall that is preventing me from getting closer to the building. Not a huge deal. It's just one of those things that bothers me because I'm a little crazy like that. But wow, we need to have 6 workers here at the barber shop. Got a few more families that want to move in. We'll place one over here. Another one right here. They want a place that has a lot of trees around it. And this makes me inclined to upgrade a home again. And place them right here. They love that. And then a few more families just arrived, so we'll move them in as well. And they're not picky. They'll live anywhere. Now I want to hop back into the research menu because our bistro is now available. We'll go for this now, and then next I want to place that city hall. Now I want to place the bistro in this location right here, and this will fit perfectly here. This even looks like a building that should be on a corner. And I'm guessing I'm going to be able to fit a small business right back here, so I'm just going to fill this in quickly. And load this up with 6 laborers. I'm also noticing that we've got a lot of unhappy residents. So I just want to look at this quickly. They're unhappy because they don't have access to food. And that's pretty nice, except that we're now again out of warehouse capacity. So I need to add one more person here. And this doesn't meet the demand, which tells us what we have to research next. Even though I want the city hall, I really need the extra warehouse workers upgrade. So we're going for that first. And this allows me to add 4 more here. So we'll start with just 1 for now. And then we'll add these next couple of families in. They want to be near cliffs. This works for them. This family wants a house with multiple floors. We don't have any of those available, but I think we could make one available. And interestingly, this is okay, but they want an even taller building, which we haven't unlocked just yet. And that upset everything over here. We basically need to add workers to everything. 1 here to the barber shop, 1 to the bistro, and 1 to the shoemaker. And then this family wants to be surrounded by plaza decorations. And it looks like this home is perfect for them. And now we finally have the research points for our city hall. And you better believe that we're going to unlock it. So I'm guessing this is a special building. Indeed it is. This is $1,000, which is great because we are currently maxed out on our money. But this thing, look at the size of this thing. I think I'm going to rethink the area around the market square and place this thing there. Now I can change the tax rate of citizens by clicking on the town hall. And right now the tax rate is low. If I bump it up, I'll make people less happy. And if I move it down, I'll make them more happy. We've got a ton of money, so maybe I will lower taxes and make people overall happier, even though they're already pretty thrilled to live here. And I ended up completely rethinking this area. Now that we don't have homes over here, it makes more sense to have a plaza space where maybe some of the employees of City Hall come back here and have lunch. Now, one of the interesting things, and maybe this is an early access thing, is that the collision between City Hall and the benches isn't great. So I wanted to move this bench further back, and it just says, nah, you can't do that. So I think that that might be one of those early access things that I'm guessing, kind of like the not being able to pull the roads right up to some of these buildings, it'll be resolved in the future. Beautiful. Look at the clock even moves. It's the little details like that that I feel are all over the place in this game. People milling around, people sitting in benches, people breathing life into areas that you've built. It's just, it's a really nice touch. I just love seeing all of the activity. So now we've got a ton of research again, and I want to go for the street organ. And that opens up a kiosk theater. That's super cool. But I'm going to take this street organ, and I think I might actually place this one back here. And in my mind, this just gives more of a reason for all of this seating to be here, because you could come, enjoy your lunch, and watch a performance. That is super cool. And then we also have enough points for our ball throw. This looks like it's another cart. And indeed it is. It doesn't require a warehouse. I'm going to place this one right here once again. Turn this in towards all these businesses. And then we'll assign one worker right here. Now it's 180 citizens to get to the next level. So I'm going to move people in rapidly. And that's going to require more homes. I think I'm going to upgrade some of these. And that'll immediately cause problems here. Or maybe these were already problems and I just didn't notice them. But now we've resolved it. And that gets us 20 away. Now we've got a couple of additional workers here that are not necessary. I'm going to remove these. I'm not sure how we ended up with extra. But perhaps as we've added some of these new carts, the demand here isn't quite as high as it was. I've continued to upgrade homes and add people in, and we're almost at 180 people, but I think we only have one home left. Indeed, that's the only one. So we'll need to upgrade a few more. That said, I don't know that there's many more that I want to upgrade. I'm going to add a couple more homes right here. Now, once we move folks into these homes, we'll reach the next level, but I want to spend some of these research points down. So we'll unlock remove rocks and plaza decorations. And look at that. We get a sunshade, we get some banners, some flags, some pretty darn cool stuff. Now, I'm going to place a flag over here by City Hall. It looks like we get to pick our favorite flag too, or randomize them. Feels like randomizing is wrong for this one. You pick one and you roll with it. And I'm going to go with this red and white, almost a Swiss looking flag. Not exactly Swiss looking, but kind of Swiss looking. And then as far as the removing rocks, I just want to remove this if I can. And I'm guessing I can just demolish it now. Indeed, I can. Now we have enough research points for our kiosk theater, so I'm going to unlock that. I think I might put this one somewhere on this side of the community because we don't really have any entertainment like this over here. And there's so much demand over here, we have to completely load this thing up with employees. And then finally, we can unlock the upgrade roads option. And all we have to do is draw over previous roads to upgrade them. Upgrading roads is expensive, but significantly reduces the transportation cost of warehouses. And I'm really nervous to use this. I'm going to try right here. Yeah, you just go right over the top. Interesting. And I'm wondering if I can choose a different design. It seems like the upgraded roads are just this one design. Which, I'm going to be completely honest, makes me want to use them as arterials. So if we were trying to build up here and trying to use our warehouse down here, perhaps we use the upgraded roads to speed our transport up to a faraway area. I think that's how you do it. So we've got all of the upgrades for this level. I'm going to move in these last few folks, and that should get us to the next level. Now, this family wants to be far away from neighbors. We don't really have that in this community, so you get to be by the train station. This family is happy being anywhere, and I'm happy that that allows us to upgrade the village. And look at that train station. Holy cow. And now that our city's at stage 4, we now need housewares and we have even more research. And we've also unlocked the next level, which gives us the opportunity to learn about farming, which is really, really exciting. And it says that crops are used to supply powerful crop-powered commerce buildings to satisfy the needs of your residents and make them even happier. And I can access Fontebrock whenever I wish and start my farming journey. And I think that that is something that we're going to have to do in the next one. But this is why I wanted to play the campaign, because I feel like I accomplished something to reach that next level. And take a look at what that something is. We made this really cool little village. It's very attractive. It's very functional. It feels very organic. And I just had a blast doing this. Now, this probably isn't a big surprise. I gushed over the demo of this game. I still absolutely adore this game. I think it's a ton of fun. I think it's one of those games that just kind of eats your time. I've played this. I've been building this little city for about 3 hours, and it feels like I've been playing for about 30 minutes. If you haven't checked the demo out for this game, I would highly recommend doing so. If you want to pick the game up for yourself, it's on sale right now. I believe it's 10% off. And this video is going live on Monday the 15th. The game goes for sale on the 16th. Now, I feel like I have to remind you that this is an early access title and there are some rough edges. The roughest of the edges is around saving. I haven't been able to find a way to save anything locally. Everything is saved to the Steam cloud. And modifying saves, deleting saves, it's all kind of a mess and feels a little bit broken. There doesn't seem to be a way to exit without saving. There are some cases where I just wanted to do that and it's just not possible. You also can't rename your saves, which makes versioning pretty difficult. But truth be told, those were the only bugs that I encountered in my playthrough. And so far, I haven't encountered any missing or future content, though you better believe I'm going to be looking for it because I intend to continue this playthrough. So I've got to say, I'm really impressed with where this game is at so far. It's a ton of fun and it's incredibly relaxing. Now again, this wasn't a sponsored video, but I did receive a review key, and for that I want to thank the developer. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me and play Town to City. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And again, thank you so much for your time. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.